from Petitti's, and we're going to do a fall combination container. Let's just say late summer, early fall, because I hate saying fall, okay? What we're going to do is, like we do with all of our container gardening, you go ahead and pick your favorite pot. You go ahead and make sure it's got some drainage, so there's some drainage holes in the bottom here. Fill it up with potting soil, okay? That's really key. Make sure that the water's draining through your container. And then also adding Osmocote, or you can use Plant Tone, whatever granular fertilizer you want to put into the soil, so that every time you water, it's feeding the plants very slowly. It's really good fertilizer. Okay, now we start with the thriller, okay? So thriller plant is usually what you think of a tall spike, or a really tall flowering tropical, or whatever you like. But for fall, I really like the millets. So this is actually called Jade Princess. This is a millet. So it's an ornamental grass. It is an annual grass, okay, folks? So this, if you plant it, it will not come back next year, but it will dry out and kind of give you a sort of a corn stalk look. So Jade Princess millet, I actually separated one of these, and you can see how well, you can see how well they root and grow in a pot. So actually, before you plant something in the pot or in the ground, you want to make sure you're breaking up this root system, okay? So what I'm going to do is take my knife, and actually I'll just make some slashes in the root system to break up those roots. And I can actually take some of the bottom off, about an inch or so of the bottom off of this plant, and it will be fine. It will transplant nicely into the pot. So I'm going to do that now. Woo, that's a good grower. Okay, so that's Jade Princess. I think I'm going to put her this way, and I'm going to place her kind of in the back side of the pot, okay? And again, I always tell you I'm doing this sort of backwards on the side, so I'll rearrange as we get to the end here. Okay, so kind of back left side of the pot there. Okay, so there's Jade Princess. And then what you want to do is you also want to grab a spiller. And I always start with one spiller, and I thought this would be really nice to take this Lismachia, or moneywort. This is a perennial ground cover, so it lasts in containers a very long time until we get pretty cold. It matches sort of the chartreusey foliage of Jade Princess, so I was going to have that hang over the opposite front side of the pot. So I'm going to do that. Nope. Going to move this over a little bit, break up the soil base again, and install that in the front of the pot so it trails over. Okay, let me move the pansy over a little bit. So we've got that ready to go and planted in the pot. Okay, the next thing is, of course, to look for your fillers. So at this time of year, you've got pansies and violas, you have the ornamental kale and cabbage, you have mums, but we also have this really great celosia. So I'm going to show you this. This is, I had to divide this as well. This is intense celosia, and there's 3 different colors. There's like a pink, a fuchsia, and a purple. They're all gorgeous, but that color is so vibrant. So I'm going to place that real close to the grass, and it's going to be one of our filler plants. I should say millet, it's millet. That's going to be one of our filler plants for fall. And let's see. The next biggest one, I'm really going to put the mum in here. And I wanted a little bit of color contrast with this kind of dark fuchsia color and the yellow. It looks really nice and sunny. Mums, again, folks, if you plant them in containers, I'm just trying to get it out of the pot here, they root really, really well, and you can tell, look at that root base. So again, take your knife, pruner, scissors, what have you, be careful, and you're gonna make slashes in the root system, okay? But I'm also gonna take about a ½ inch of this root base off, because again, it'll do so much better in the pot, and it'll establish itself really well. So I'm gonna make a cut off the bottom of the root ball. There we go. And make some slashing or scoring in the root ball as well. So those roots will grow out into the soil instead of continue to move around and around and around. So this is yellow Bridget, I think, Taylor, I can't remember now. Brittany, that's right. So yellow Brittany. We'll put her in, get her kind of placed right there. Bring the grass out a little bit, okay? Good. So 2 fillers. I think I've got enough space still for my ornamental kale. This is K-momi, pink kale. And sometimes we call it flowering kale or ornamental kale, but to be honest, you could eat it if you wanted to. So we'll put that in. Broke up the root system there. Have her planted. Okay. And then I think the last plant we're going to install here is this beautiful pansy. Our pansies, all different colors, of course, some fall, some a little bit springish too, but I love this sort of antique rose color because you're bringing the pink from the millet and some of the pink shades from the celosia and then the yellow in from the mum. So it works really nicely. Again, break up that root base, get it installed. And of course, as we get cooler and cooler into the fall, the pansies and violas, the kale, they're all gonna flourish. They're really gonna change for you, really beef up. They really enjoy those cooler evenings, cooler daytime temperatures, and they'll do so much nicer for you. Again, remember, I have Osmocote in the soil, so you do wanna make sure that you're still feeding because we've still got a lot of growing season to go. So again, your thriller is your millet, filler, you have mum, celosia, pansy, kale, and then your spiller, you have this Lismachia. And once we water it and wash everything off, it'll look perfect. Enjoy.